K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we are expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at sales@k98fm.com. The staff of K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network is proud to announce that our very own Rowdy Rick Robinson has been selected as one of the top conservative talk show hosts in the nation for his program America Off the Rails. Again, congratulations to Rowdy Rick Robinson for a job well done and another reason to stay connected to K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network.
We will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your health care plan, you will be able to keep your health care plan, period.
This is the most transparent administration in history. Not even a smidgen of corruption.
Fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. What difference at this point does it make?
If you got a business, you didn't build that.
Oh, welcome to the face. Welcome to the face of the new democracy. Don't expect us to admit a mistake. We're paying off election debts to those on the take. Attorney General's lying even while...
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. You're listening to America Off the Rails with your host, Rick Robinson.
Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you might be. I am Rick Robinson. This is America Off the Rails, and it is Thursday, January 29th, 2015. It is just a few minutes past 6 o'clock. I'll be with you for the full hour this evening. Now, this will be likely my last live broadcast until Saturday morning. My middle son has a swim meet tomorrow, so I will be attending that during this time frame. I do plan on trying to see if maybe somebody else wants to fill in for me. If nothing else, we will have a replay up in my time slot, so feel free to check that out. I do have a lot that'll be going on tonight. Lots of things to talk about. Some of this I talked a little bit about last night, but kind of only touched on it because everything just kind of came together in a hurry last night, and it seemed like there was one issue after the other. So, and I'd already missed so much this week and hanging out with you guys and talking to you that I definitely didn't want to miss last night as well. So we did do a show last night, but I'm still going to kind of continue where I left off with that one, because what I'd like to do now is kind of do a little bit of a compare and contrast. And what I'm referring to is the difference between, let's say, Chris Kyle and Bo Bergdahl. And by let's say, I mean exactly that. Got a few clips I'd like to play. First, there are a few things I'd like to go over with you. For those of you who may be tuning in for the first time, of course, this show is always available live on K98Talk.com. Anytime we are live, it is also normally available on TuneIn. We are having a bit of a technical issue over there today. Nothing permanent, just an issue on my side. Sadly, one of my browsers has crashed, and it happened to be the one with all of my passwords. So, still working on some things behind the scenes there, but of course also available on TuneIn Radio. And this particular show is actually almost available everywhere if you really want to stop and think about it, because through TuneIn we're available on pretty much any mobile device, including Roku. Also, the website is mobile friendly, so you can take that pretty much anywhere you want to go. This show also has its own Android app, so you can download that by putting America Off the Rails in quotation marks and taking that anywhere you want to go. You can also find us on iHeartRadio, and we have recently been added to Stitcher as a podcast. So at this point, we are available pretty much anywhere. Oh, and the one that I keep forgetting about, and I don't know why I do, because it's also a pretty big deal, we are available through K98Talk.com, through iTunes as well. So at this point, if you're not finding that it's it's mainly because you're not looking. And, there are going to be some folks, mainly liberals, that aren't going to want to find anything to do with this show. But again, I'd like to give a big shout out to TopTalkRadio.com. Of course, yours truly is now a featured show host there. Of course, among one of the top 100 in the country, which was a very big deal. And again, nobody was more surprised by that than I was. And of course, now pretty much every time we have a live show, whether it's my show or somebody else's show, somebody always decides to play the big old congrats thing that John and Denny put together for me. So thanks again to those guys for doing that. And again, just so everybody knows, I may be getting a lot of credit, but it's because of you guys. That website doesn't just put anybody up there. Somebody had to have recommended me, and then they actually listen to a lot of different things and pull from a lot of different aspects before they make a decision. So thanks to everybody who's managed to help out in getting us to start being more recognized. Also, a big shout out to Politabunny, who's actually become a pretty good Twitter friend. You'll hear occasionally, every once in a while, I'll drop a liner in that during a fade out to a break that she did for me, and I returned the favor. I honestly hadn't caught her show lately, so I don't know if she's playing mine. Wouldn't blame her if she's not. I mean, she's a rock star. She's way up here. I'm way down there. So that's cool, and I get it. But yeah, I've gotten to know a lot of cool people through Twitter, and I have to say, I'm sad that I took so long to make the jump. So speaking of Twitter, because Facebook used to be the thing, Facebook is where everybody went. Facebook is where all the political pages started. But can I just be real honest for a second? Facebook sucks. Anymore, if you're not sending Mr. What the hell is his name again? See, I used to have all these nicknames for him too, and now all of a sudden his name completely escapes me. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Looks like Screech. Owns Facebook. If you're not sending him money, nobody sees your posts anymore. Which for an aspiring radio host and political commentator, that sucks balls. Let's just be real honest. That sucks. That now all of a sudden, because you decided you wanted to go IPO and you wanted to see how much money you could make off of this, all of a sudden now I have to pay you to do the same thing that you used to let me do for free? No. And what's really starting to annoy me is, you have all of these new programs out now that are supposed to help you monitor your social media and keep up with it and do this and do that. And every single one of them has an astronomical monthly charge. I mean, I'm a capitalist as much as the next guy, but do you really got to charge me $50 a month just to help me keep up with my social media accounts? I'd rather keep that money and do it myself. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, so, Mark Zuckernerd. Yeah, that's who I was thinking about. Yeah, so thanks to Zuckernerd and the fact that he's amped Facebook so far down, I've considered leaving Facebook. I found an alternative. I'm going to do a little bit more research into it and hang out there a little bit longer, see what it's about. And no, I'm not talking about the Tea Party thing. I tried that too. But this one's different. It's actually run in another country. And because of that, they have lots better privacy laws. Let that sink in for a second. Yeah, you heard me right. It's run in another country, and they have much better privacy laws than we do. How does it feel to know that you used to live in the land of the free and the home of the brave, and now you live in the land of the free stuff and the home of the slave? Just asking. All right, so lots of stuff again do want to talk about today. We're going to go ahead and get started right now. Got a couple of different clips. I think since I already talked about Chris Kyle a little bit yesterday, we're going to kind of do this in reverse. I've got some stuff I'd like to say in regards to some clips that I found about Mr. Bo Bergdahl, the guy that Obama decided needed to be brought home, and he was willing to trade 5 high-level commanders to do so. Even though now it seems to be coming to light that there's a good chance that he was a deserter. Duh, some of us have been telling you that for 5 years, Mr. President. In the words of Bruce Willis in Die Hard, welcome to the party, pal! Just saying. All right, so let's get this queued up real quick, and then we will do some discussion.
Back and follow-up segment tonight, as you may know, Sergeant Bo Bergdahl, 28 years old, left his unit without permission in Afghanistan in 2009, was captured by the Taliban. Bergdahl was held for 5 years until President Obama traded 5 captured Taliban commanders for the sergeant. Upon coming home, Bergdahl was investigated by the Army. That investigation was concluded in October. Now, almost 3 months later, it is being stonewalled. Joining us now from Washington, Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer, Senior Fellow at the London Center for Policy Research, who has been closely following the story, has some new information tonight. And what is that, Colonel?
Bill, the Army has come to its conclusion, and Bo Bergdahl, Sergeant Bergdahl, will be charged with desertion. I've been told, I've been confirmed by 2 other sources that his attorney was given what we call a charge sheet. A charge sheet essentially is the results of the investigation listing out the articles of the Uniform Code of Military Justice which have been violated. The key violation is desertion. And this has been done, the decision has been made, and let me be very clear, as a corporate entity, the Army has decided that they want to pursue Bergdahl for this violation.
Let me just ask you a series of simple questions.
Sure.
Bergdahl's attorney a military guy?
No, he's not. He's a civilian.
He's a civilian guy. By charging Bergdahl with desertion, that means there has to be a trial, right?
The next, and this essentially is what the equivalent of a grand jury hearing is, which is what we call an Article 32. And yes, that is the procedure you must go through to go to the court-martial.
So it'll be a military trial. All right, Bergdahl will have a military attorney, a civilian attorney if he wants. He'll come in.
That's correct.
He'll either plead guilty or not guilty to the desertion charge.
That's correct.
Now, we hear that the White House has been stonewalling this information, that they came to this conclusion a long time ago. Remember, there was a prior investigation before this latest one with the Army. And who in the White House is the point person to tell the Army not to release what you just told us?
There's a huge battle going on at multiple levels, but the individual that I've been told, which is spearheading this in the effort to suppress it, is Ben Rhodes. Ben Rhodes has been essentially the liaison between the Pentagon and the Pentagon and the White House on a number of key issues, to include a lot of the intelligence failures that you've seen. We've talked about right here regarding ISIS, regarding the Iraqi military. Ben has been the guy in the middle of all that, and I'm told again that he's the guy that's really
he's the National Security Advisor, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that his title upstairs? If you can just. I'm not sure of his exact title.
Assistant National Security Advisor.
Assistant National Security Advisor. Okay.
That's correct.
So he's the liaison to General Mark Milley, who is the guy overall in charge. But Milley's boss is Martin Dempsey.
That's correct.
Who said on January 12th, there's Milley, Dempsey said that he expects the decision to be released soon. That was 2 weeks ago, and still no decision released. And you're saying, just want to be very clear, the White House wants it delayed, but what good does that do? Because sooner or later they have to put it out.
Bill, this is shaping up to be a titanic struggle behind the scenes. Believe me, the Army here wants to do the right thing. Factually, there's no way they cannot do the right thing regarding Bergdahl. And the White House, because of the political narrative, President Obama cozying up to the parents, and because of President Obama, releasing the 5 Taliban. By the way, those 5 Taliban were never briefed to senior leadership at the Pentagon before it happened. I'm just letting. The narrative is what the White House does not want to have.
Of course they don't want it, but they're going to look. The White House can't tell the Army not to charge him with desertion. All right, if what you say is true, they're going to charge him with desertion.
He has been. He has been.
He's been charged. All right, so they got it. So now, what good does it do for Ben Rhodes or anybody else to say, "Don't tell anybody"? It's got to come out. They should just get it out and get it over with.
Well, we're putting it out here, so hopefully this will start the process of getting the sunlight on the whole process. Bill, I'm told that this is again a huge battle behind the scenes. The White House wants this to go away.
I understand from my Army sources, which are not nearly as good as yours, the Army and the Pentagon are furious because they see themselves looking bad, and it's not really their fault.
No. Everybody in the Army has done what they needed to do according to their duty. That's correct. Yes, sir.
All right, Colonel, we appreciate it very much. Thank you. Plenty more ahead as the factor moves along this evening. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo embarrassed because the state of New York has apparently allowed rampant corruption in the
All right. So, yeah, just couple of quick things on that. There was, I think it was one of Obama's advisors came on to, right after this broke, there was one of Obama's advisors came on in a full-dress military uniform. Do believe it was naval. Not 100% positive. I happened to be waking up right as I heard this, so it's just something that I don't have full recall over. But anyway, so basically what had happened was, I can't believe I just said that on the air. Sorry, I say that all the time, but I usually try not to do it when I'm on the air. Anyway, so what happened was, I already said it once, might as well say it again. All right, so anyway, long story short, there was one of Obama's advisors came on the very next day after this story originally broke about someone stating that they had from military sources that he was going to be facing desertion, and basically said the exact opposite. Now, why do I bring this up, do you ask? Because here's something that concerns me. During the interview and during one of the segments, the person in full military uniform, dress blues, basically made a statement, which I'm sorry is not 100% factual. He stated, and I quote, "In this country we have innocent until proven guilty." Not according to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, commonly referred to as UCMJ. If you commit any type of a crime while on duty or while in a uniform or while serving your country, the burden of proof is on proving your innocence, not your guilt. So, thanks for, pulling at everybody's heartstrings and, giving it the whole college try about, well, no matter what, he's innocent until proven guilty. Not if they proffer charges. Because once they proffer charges, if they do it as a military court, which they would have to because they're going to be charging him with desertion, most likely, which I'm sorry, he fully deserves, then the burden of proof becomes on proving his innocence, not on proving his guilt. So, good job. Way to try to snowball America, and you suck, sir. Okay, one other clip I'd like to get to on this, and this is Judge Napolitano with more on this situation. So we'll get that queued up right now.
Remember when the Obama administration was painting the release of Sergeant Bo Bergdahl in a positive light? Remember that?
This is a joyous day. The fact that he is now safely in American hands and will be reunited with his family. He served the United States with honor and distinction, and we'll have the opportunity eventually to learn what has transpired in the past years.
Really? Will we? But 6 months after the military began the investigation into the soldier's disappearance and capture by the Taliban, the findings remain under wraps. So why is that? Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano is here to break it down. Judge, we know 2 generals looked at this. We know the investigation's complete. So when do we get the results of this investigation?
Probably when the president decides he wants us to get it, because of the president's personal, and the answer to your question is the president's personal involvement in the trade of Sergeant Bergdahl for 5 Taliban leaders at Gitmo is so toxic, such a hot potato. I think he prefers that we never know exactly what happened. So even though Susan Rice, the clip that you just ran, said we have an opportunity to find out what happened the past 5 years, he was gone for 5 years in their captivity. I don't know that we'll ever know. The broad array of what he could be charged with, from the low end of failure to answer a roll call, which is an administrative discipline, to treason, for which he could be executed, and a dozen different crimes in between. I don't know that the government is ever going to choose which one it wants to charge him with.
Well, we have had some of his, some of the people who served with him on this program, and they've made it very clear that he was a deserter. However, if the investigation finds that he was a deserter, then the fact that we gave up the 5 bad guys for the deserter blows up.
Well, that's why we may never know what's in the report. Before we started this segment, Brian said, is there any way we see the report? If the general who conducts the investigation recommends prosecution, and if Sergeant Bergdahl's commanding general agrees to the prosecution, then we will see the report. But if there is no prosecution, the government has no obligation to show the report. As frustrating as this is, I want to see it as much as you do, as much as everybody watching us now wants to see it. The military has no obligation to reveal that report, and it is not subject to the Freedom of Information Act.
Right. I mean, it's you have General Ken Dahl and you have General Mark Milley who did this. And you have to wonder, is this stovepiped? Is it, I'm going to do an investigation, I don't care who's president? Or do you sense they're bleeding into each other, that these generals could be infected by the political atmosphere?
It's almost unheard of for a general to be conducting an investigation like this. This is a couple of grades below what a general normally does. Who selected this general, whether it was Secretary Hagel or the president himself, I don't know.
You know, one of the things that makes this case different, and it's the same thing with Benghazi. Benghazi, 4 Americans died. In the looking for Sergeant Bergdahl, at least 3 Americans who were out on the lookout, out on patrol, looking for him, died.
Yes.
3 that we know of.
Yes.
We've heard a much higher number. I mean, people lost their lives
very
looking for a guy who apparently deserted.
Well, that elevates the penalty for him. I mean, desertion is ordinarily punished by imprisonment. But if soldiers looking for you during the period of desertion were killed while looking for you, that elevates the penalty to execution.
I'll tell you what, I don't know if this is a legal problem, but this is a real problem. If those 5 go back to action, and I don't think they're learning a vocation or in woodshop right now, and they kill other Americans down the line in some massive operation because these guys are planners and commanders, then that factors in. That should be something that's really consequential.
Well, it's very consequential. Remember, it's a federal crime to provide material assistance to a terrorist organization. Question: is releasing Taliban leaders back to the Taliban providing material assistance to a terrorist organization? I
say yes.
That's what the president did.
It was a joyful day when we got him back, according to...
She didn't seem too happy when she was saying joyful.
Right. She was just reading the script.
Yes.
All right, Judge, thank you.
All right, folks. So, yeah, you know, I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of Ambassador Rice. I haven't been since the Benghazi situation. And the whole positive spin of, you know, it's a happy, joyous day because we got this valiant hero back. You know what? You wouldn't know a hero if they came up and kicked you right square in the ass. So why don't you quit trying to drop the H word, because everybody uses that word anymore and it's really starting to piss me off. Not everybody is a hero. Your favorite baseball player is not a hero. Your favorite basketball player is not a hero. Your favorite football player is not a hero. Your favorite WWE superstar is not a hero. Let me tell you who heroes are. Heroes run into burning buildings and save people's lives. Heroes run towards bullets while everyone else is running away from them. Heroes run towards gunshots. Heroes place themselves between you and the people that want to kill you, and they do so on a daily basis. They do so with no thanks, barely any recognition, and the fact and the truth of the matter is the media typically despises them, demonizes them, and makes them wish they had never joined anything because all they ever do is hear all of the negative. But this guy who basically said, screw it, I'm done, I'm going to go hang out with some goat. Now, see, I almost went really, really dark. How do you gonna go hang out with some folks that decided to have relations with goats? Is that a nice way to say what I was about to say? I don't. As you can tell, I'm a little angry over this. I'm tired of this guy being paraded around as some sort of a hero, and Chris Kyle is the devil. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Chris Kyle and I are very similar, very close in age. We have very similar beliefs. And we've both been in situations that were life and death more than once. So I believe, honestly, if given the chance, we may have been able to be friends if it wasn't for the fact that we spent most of our lives a state away, even when he was in country, and half a world away when he wasn't. But the simple fact of the matter is, this man, Bo Bergdahl, is not a hero. He's a deserter. And if the government doesn't charge him, then I'm not sure why not. Because the simple fact of the matter is he is a deserter. Plain, simple, cut to the bone, just be completely honest and let's call it like it is. This man deserted. He is a coward at best, at worst, a traitor. And I'm pretty sure it's probably a little bit of A and a lot of bit of B. Let's just be completely honest. Alright, so at this point, we have hit the halfway point of the show. Gonna have to take a little bit of a commercial break right now, here in just a second, and we will be right back with you. Just gotta get a couple things queued up here.
K98Talk.com, a leader in internet radio. So grab your seatbelts and take the ride of your life on K98Talk.com.
This is Misty, owner of Wax It Studio in Edmond, Oklahoma, and I'm here to talk to you about a skincare product called Theramedics. Theramedics has a wonderful line of products from anti-aging to hyperpigmentations all the way to acne. In fact, everyone at some point in our life is affected by acne. Acne can cause a great deal of embarrassment and anxiety, and in order to prevent and help other people, I have tapped into this wonderful product called Theramedics. Visit my website at www.prettyskindeep.com. Again, that's www.prettyskindeep.com.
K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we are expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at sales@k98fm.com. With Christmas right around the corner, it's time to shop for that treasured someone. With a unique touch, White Apartment Studios specializes in fine candles and custom gifts. Visit Stacy R's website at whiteapartment.etsy.com. That's whiteapartment.etsy.com, the world's most vibrant handmade marketplace. And tell her you heard about it on K98Talk.com. Tune into The Family Factor with Denny C. every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning at 5 a.m. as he looks at all the challenges facing the family today. Denny will give you a refreshingly new look at tackling some of the biggest issues. So start your day off on the right foot with Denny C. and The Family Factor, right here on K98Talk.com.
Calls, we got a pen and telephone to bypass all your laws. Political correctness will replace the Bill of Rights. Support religious freedom, bless you, pray to Jesus Christ. The press is in our pockets cause there's no longer free. You cannot make a move now that the NSA can see. Don't expect equality, respect or fair play. The IRS will target those who vote the wrong way. Welcome to the
All right, folks, we're back. We're live. We are into the last half of the show already. My, oh my, where does the time go? Don't forget, as soon as this show ends, we will be right back with the launch of the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show. Here with us live every Thursday from a little bit after 7 to usually right around 8 o'clock, maybe a couple minutes after. We don't have anything live scheduled after that, and this is not something you're going to hear me do very often, but once this show's over, I would encourage you to go over to 405 Radio and check out Bunny, because you can always come back and check out the show that we have loaded at a later time. Because that's actually where I'm going to be. As soon as his show's over, I'm going to grab some dinner real quick and then tune into the show and hang out with Bunny and see what she's got going on tonight. And if you miss it tonight, there's always a lot of stuff going on. So we get that. We understand that. It'll be live right here tomorrow night and available on both K98talk.com and the TuneIn app. So if you miss it tonight, feel free to come back, hang out with us, and check it out tomorrow. Also, before I take the programming director head back off, can we swap out Christmas for Valentine's? Yeah, I realized, because I've had so much going on, I actually forgot that we've had a new sponsor for the last few weeks, and I keep forgetting to play their stuff, so I finally pulled up the only commercial I could find with their name on it, and it talks about Christmas. So, yeah, promo guys, some fixes, please, if we're going to play it, unless there's another one I don't know about, and if there is, just message me, and I'll make sure I get that one loaded next time. All right, so one last thing. We are in negotiations with 3 other shows. What we're wanting to try to do at this point is start filling in some of the daytime lineup. I think actually what we've kind of decided to start doing is maybe do actually kind of an early morning God's Pure Word of Faith, maybe daily, in Denny's usual time slot, and then move him to 6 to 7. And then I'd like to see about getting some of these other shows, once we get them lined out and get everything situated, to play afterwards. That way there's a good few hours of programming in the mornings, then there's a good few hours of programming in the evenings, and eventually as we continue to grow and situate, we can fill in the blanks more and more right here on K98talk.com and the Spark Radio Network. Now, one last programming note. This weekend will be the first time that I have Bryce Robbins, the host of Opinion Nation, sitting in on the left chair, or in the left chair, on Finding Common Ground. Dave will be unavailable for the next few weekends thanks to a scheduling change with the day job, so we will have him filling in with us. I'm honestly kind of looking forward to it because it'll be interesting to bring a new, even more liberal perspective than Dave's to the table and kind of see what happens. We tried that once before, and sadly, while the show went really, really well, there were some conflicts of interest, shall we say, when we had Bella Blue sit in a few times, and I'd actually approached her about doing so more often, and then for some reason or another, she just decided that this wasn't for her. So, to each their own. But yeah, so at this point, we will have Bryce Robbins filling in for the next few weeks, at least on Finding Common Ground in the left chair. And I think that's it. I hope so. If nothing else, maybe I'll remember something right before we go off the air. But at this point, kind of want to change gears a little bit. I think I've talked about Bo enough. Don't need no more Bo. Bergdahl needs to just go away. So, want to kind of change gears a little bit, talk about somebody that I actually do admire, maybe bring my blood pressure back down a few points, and go from there. So, again, for anyone who missed last night, one of the things that I did definitely want to make sure I talk to you guys about is the fact that I actually got to go see a movie this last weekend. My wife, Mrs. Robinson, and my brother-in-law, or my sister-in-law, sorry, went out to the rodeo both Saturday night and Sunday afternoon. Well, so Saturday night, my brother-in-law and I decided we were going to go hang out and eat a little bit of dinner and go see a movie, so we went to see American Sniper. I'm not going to bore you with everything that I said last night because you can always go back and listen to it again, but that's kind of what's inspired me to do a little bit of digging, do a little bit of research, see what I could find out about Chris Kyle. There were a lot of things I didn't know because, unfortunately, I didn't really know about him until after his death, but he was involved in a lot of cool things. He actually... I guess you can, oddly enough, you'll still likely be able to hear him on the Outdoor Channel because I think shortly before his death they completed some filming. I don't know if they're still airing those episodes, because I'm not sure how old one of the interview segments I found yesterday was, but it was interesting. He also had some admonitions during that interview about our current president and his propensity for gun grabbing. I don't actually have that interview yet. I plan on using that probably Saturday for a little bit, because again, he's kind of been my recurring theme this week. And I don't know, in my opinion, he deserves it. If you don't think so, hit me up. @R, _R_OKC. You can also find me on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Rowdy Rick Robinson. We are having a bit of an issue with the Spark Radio Network server. That should be resolved later today. Feel free, if you want to shoot me an email tomorrow morning. Everything should be up and running by then. For some reason, the credit card company that we used to pay the bills decided that they didn't like one of the transactions I did, so they've placed a hold on the card. That has been resolved at this point. So yeah, fun times. Did I mention how much I dislike credit card companies? Just saying. All right, so back to what I was talking about before I kind of went off on my own little tirading tangent there. Got a lot of stuff I want to touch on about Chris Kyle. This one is actually an interview that he did. I believe it was actually shortly before his passing. We're going to play that, and then I've got one other clip I wanted to touch on. Then we'll kind of change gears, because of course, the other recurring theme all the way through till Saturday is going to have to be Tom Brady's balls. Just saying. Yeah, that sounds a lot dirtier than it is. But some of you right now are going, woohoo! And some of you are like, oh my God, I can't believe he went there. Anyway, we're going to play these couple of clips, talk about them, and then we'll change gears again.
So, Chief, I read your book. Very entertaining. I recommend it for my audience. I think they'll like it. First of all, you say you knocked Jesse Ventura to the floor with a punch. Now, you don't mention his name, but everybody knows who that is. Number one, that happened? You knocked him out?
Yeah. Well, I knocked him down.
Knocked him down. Why? Why would you punch Ventura?
It was in 06, was the year that we lost our first 2 SEALs in Iraq. We came home. We lost our last guy just before coming home. We had the wake in a SEAL bar there in Coronado, and he was there. He was there for a speaking engagement at a bud ceremony, graduating class.
Because he was a SEAL, right? Yes, sir. Was a Navy SEAL. So he was bad-mouthing the war, right?
Bad-mouthing the war, bad-mouthing Bush, bad-mouthing America.
And you took exception?
I did find a problem with it. The family was there. I asked him to please tone it down, that we did not want to upset the family members of Mikey Monsoor.
Who was killed?
Yes, sir. And he earned the Medal of Honor. He jumped on a grenade and saved everybody else around.
But I want to be clear, Ventura wasn't attacking him at all, verbally bashing him. He was just bashing the whole thing in general.
Yes, sir. Until he said we deserve to lose a few guys.
He said we, the United States.
No, he said y'all deserve to lose a few guys.
Navy SEALs.
I'm assuming he was saying that to me.
Was he drunk?
No, sir. I never saw him with a drink in hand at all.
So once he said you deserve to lose a few guys, you popped him?
Yes, sir.
Did he fight back?
He went down. The cops were there. I took off running.
You ran?
Yes, sir.
Did they arrest you?
No, sir. I have a Master Chief that always said, punch and run.
Now, if I ask you a tough question, you're going to pop me tonight? I'm not, of course, do that, sir. But no, okay, I'm good. All right, now, the other thing in the book is that you are credited with 150 certified kills, which means you as a sniper took out 150 guys, and somebody else saw it, witnessed it. So you are the most lethal sniper in U.S. history, and you have the medals to prove it. 5 Bronze Stars, 2 Silver Stars, and all of that. What struck me in the book, though, is that you considered the people you were killing, the Iraqis you were killing, quote-unquote, savages.
The people I was killing, not just Iraqis.
Why did you consider the enemy savages?
From their actions, the way they live day to day, as far as the violence they commit on American troops, the beheadings, the rape of innocent villagers and townspeople that they go into just to intimidate them. They live by putting fear into other people's hearts, and civilized people just don't act that way.
You were so effective in Iraq that they put $20,000 on your head If one of them had killed you, they would have been paid $20,000. Do you believe that they considered you a savage?
I'm sure they did. Honestly, I don't know, and I really don't care.
So you were committed to killing these people because you in your heart believed that they deserved to die.
I wasn't so much committed to killing them as I'm committed to making sure every service member that was over there, whether American or Allied, came home.
But as a sniper, your job is to kill them, not wound them, not arrest them. You have to have a certain mentality to be a sniper. You're killing them.
Oh, I'm killing them to protect my fellow Americans.
And you liked it. I liked that job. In that book, that comes, it was your wife didn't want you to do it. She wanted you to stay home. You went back. How many times did you go back?
4 times.
4 times. You liked killing these guys. Did you ever figure that out?
Well, I mean, it's not a problem taking out someone who wants your people dead. That's not a problem at all.
Do you ever now, looking back, have any regrets at all about anything that you did?
Yes, I do. And it's the people I couldn't save.
The Americans you couldn't save were the Allied forces?
Americans, the local Iraqis, anyone who I witnessed violence coming down on them, and I could not save them.
That's your regret?
Yes, sir.
You don't have post-traumatic stress or anything like that, or that you killed so many human beings? That doesn't come back at you?
None of my problems come from the people I've killed.
It's very fascinating. And that's why I want people to read your book, because I think if they do, if they read your book, Chief, American Sniper, they'll understand what war is really about. Because I think too many of us don't understand what war is really about.
Well, I mean, war is hell. It's definitely, Hollywood fantasizes about it, makes it look good. War sucks.
But they need guys like you to win.
You have to get in the mentality, and you have to not think of them as a human being. You have to portray them as, that's why I put
savages.
Savage, definitely.
Right. All right, Chief, thanks very much. We appreciate you coming on in.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, so that was an interview that Chris Kyle did with Bill O'Reilly shortly, I believe it was actually shortly before his death, but I'm not sure on the timeline there. But a few things that I think are rather pertinent is, first of all, I have to say this is probably only the 3rd time I've heard the interview. I listened to it the other day when I was doing research, and then I listened to it again today as it was being uploaded to make sure that I kind of had what I wanted to talk about outlined a little bit, and then, of course, I listened to it with you just now. This is one of the times I wasn't really that impressed with O'Reilly's interview style. I'm not sure if he was playing devil's advocate or if he is as anti-war as he almost came across with some of those questions. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because I do usually enjoy his show. He's usually kind of a middle of the road kind of guy. So I mean, he may be a little on the squishy side when it comes to this kind of stuff. But the simple fact of the matter is, for everybody that's talking crap about this movie, the simple truth is they probably haven't seen it yet. And I said this yesterday, but I'm going to say it again. For all of you that are talking about how this movie and the portrayal of Chris Kyle makes people of Islamic or Middle Eastern lineage look like a bunch of raving lunatics, you need to pay really close attention to the credits when you finally do go see the movie. Because you will see a lot of folks with Middle Eastern names listed as consultants. In almost every single aspect of that movie, there were Middle Eastern names all over it. All over the footprint, all over the flavor of it, all over the actions of the people that were in it. So when the people that have the same similar beliefs as you, but maybe just not quite dialed up to the crazy notch some of you jugheads have it set to, make you look like you're crazy, that's not my problem, because the simple fact of the matter is, if you're an extremist, I don't care if you are a Christian extremist, a Muslim extremist, a Hindu extremist, Buddhist extremist, whatever kind of extremist there could possibly be, if you're one of them, you are the problem. We don't need extremism here. We don't need people that are dialed up to the point where they're ready to go on honor killings. This is something else that I heard on the drive home yesterday, and I was trying to find the audio clip for it, struggling last night and today to try to find it. There was someone who interviewed, I believe it was on Sean Hannity, talking about the fact that he grew up with a Muslim friend who, was in his teen years, and he was smoking and drinking and partying with everybody else. Seemed like a pretty run-of-the-mill, normal kind of guy, because, he obviously wasn't the extremist type, because, hey, why else? Well, I mean, if he was, he obviously wouldn't have been smoking, drinking, etc. But here's the thing. When it came right down to it, eventually, the father of this young man, who also had, the young man had a sister, found out that his sister was dating someone who was not Muslim. And at some point, I'm sure things happened that Dad probably wasn't very proud of, because he called on the son to avenge the honor of the family. Sister, father's daughter, was burned. Now, for all of you that are all over Twitter and all over social media trying to make Chris Kyle out to be some sort of a damn monster, you need to pay really close attention to the stuff that nobody else is talking about. The fact that this stuff is happening in America now. Muslims are stoning people that have different beliefs in places like Michigan. And yeah, you can put as big of a spin on that as you want, but the simple fact of the matter is, a few years back, during a rally in Michigan, Muslims were stoning Christians. I don't care how much of a spin you want to put on it. I don't care if you want to say, well, the Christians were acting like douchebags. The simple fact of the matter is, Muslims were stoning Christians. That shouldn't be happening in this country. We shouldn't have a border that is so far wide open that we don't know who or how many are in here to do us harm. This is why the Republican Party got such a large mandate during this past election in November, and nobody's talking about it. Do you want to know why nobody's talking about it? Because the Republicans are hoping, just like the Democrats, that now that the elections are over, everybody's going to go back to life as usual. Because each side is doing nothing but trying to hang on to their power, while we sit back and go, hey guys, that's not what we sent you for. What happened to us being your boss? You know what happened to us being their bosses? We fell asleep at the damn switch. It's time to wake up before it's too late. We have given away our power. Not only have we given away our power, we have abdicated our responsibilities. When we allow the media to vilify folks like Chris Kyle and to elevate folks like this other douche canoe, we are the problem. When the media can tell you that Bo Bergdahl, everybody that heard this story from the day it came out that had any type of service experience, whether it was military, law enforcement, I even talked to EMTs that were like, dude, there is no way this guy is not a deserter. And now here we are 5 years later, and everybody's finally going, hey, we think maybe this guy is a deserter. And the military is like, nope, move along, nothing to see here, folks. Innocent until proven guilty. Really? Go back and read your Uniform Code of Military Justice, sir, because if you charge them with something in a military court, the burden of proof goes the other way around. The burden of proof is on proving your innocence, not on proving your guilt. So before you, as an advisor to the president, go on Fox News in your full military uniform, making yourself look like a jackass, maybe you should pick up a book. Because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the media tearing apart somebody like Chris Kyle. Because I'm telling you right now, after seeing that movie, if I had the opportunity, that man and I probably would have been really good friends, at least for 5 minutes. Then he would have gotten to know me and realized I was kind of an idiot, and probably wouldn't have lasted very long. But at least for 5 minutes, I'm pretty sure we would have got along. Because we are a lot alike. I will bend over backwards and put myself in harm's way for the people that I care about every chance and every time I have to. I've done it for as long as I can remember. It's how I'm wired. He was the same way. So to have all of these people coming out now all over Twitter and everything else, making this guy sound like some sort of a monster, each one of you can shut the hell up. You know, I was going to change gears to try to calm down. It didn't work. The good news is we are almost out of time, so I think what I'm going to try to do, of course, to try to kind of wind myself down, because, you know, I'm going to have to take a back seat here in just a minute and run the board, and I don't want to be breaking in all over Grouchy's show. So I think we're going to change gears, and I'm going to spend the last couple of minutes kind of talking about the Super Bowl. Again, also, mainly because I wanted to play something by a group of folks that everybody I'm sure knows, also from 405 Radio. We play 2 of their shows here every week, but there is a group that is over there called Politainment. They have put together something rather interesting in regards to this Deflategate. So, in the hopes that I can get my blood pressure out of triple digits, very high triple digits, I'm sure at this point, we are going to go ahead and play that right now. Maybe. That is, of course, if I can find it. So, give me just a second. I know it's in here. I thought I put it in here. You ever have one of those days? Okay, well, if at first you don't succeed, grab it again. Because I know it was in here somewhere, and I could have swore I grabbed it. Nope, I did not. So give me just a moment. Let's get that queued up. Fun times, fun times.
Here's a story of an AFC team that once again was in the Super Bowl. They have a weirdo coach who always mumbles and dresses like a 12-year-old. Here's a story of a man named Brady who would only play with footballs of his own. There were 12 balls in a bag together, their whereabouts unknown. Then one day Brady threw an interception, and the Colts coaching staff was appalled. The Patriots are now a top news story, and we want to know about Tom Brady's balls. Tom Brady's balls. Tom Brady's balls. Deflategate is all about Tom Brady's balls.
All right, so again, big hats off to the Politainment crew for putting that together. I do have to admit, if you haven't been listening to their stuff yet, you really should, especially the stuff that replays over here, just because, you know. But anyway, Jason DeWilkins is the host of According to Me. He's, I'm not sure how much help he gets on that kind of stuff, but he's really, really creative. You can find a lot of their stuff on SoundCloud. You can even find some stuff that he's put out on SoundCloud under his According to Me page. Some of it we actually played as the build-up to his launch on over here, which was barocking around the Christmas tree, because, you know, we launched them shortly after Christmas. So all the way through Christmas, we were playing that a lot. He does really good Obama impressions. Now, in case you don't have any idea what it is that I'm talking about, which would disturb me, but let's for the moment assume there's probably at least 2 people in the entire country that have no idea why we're talking about Tom Brady's balls. And no, it's not quite as bad as it seems, because we're talking about his footballs. Get your mind out of the gutter. I mean, dang. All right, so anyway, let's get something queued up that explains it a little bit more, and then I'm going to take us out with another something that's kind of funny that's attached to that, and then we will change the gears and be right back with the grouchy one.
The NFL is investigating claims to see whether or not the New England Patriots purposely deflated some of the game balls they used in the AFC Championship game against the Indianapolis Colts. Whether or not they purposely deflated these balls may have helped Tom Brady get a better grip on the ball when he was throwing it in the rain. Each team has to provide the NFL referees with 12 game balls 2 hours and 15 minutes before game time for the referees to inspect to make sure they meet certain specifications. If the Patriots then took those balls and deflated them, they could face potential fines. The Patriots are infamous for Spygate, in which Bill Belichick, their coach, was fined $500,000 for videotaping the New York Jets. And the team was also fined $250,000, and they had to forfeit their first-round pick back in 2008. This Deflategate gives more ammunition for people out there who want to call the New England Patriots cheaters. The NFL is still investigating the claims into whether or not the Patriots purposely deflated the balls. Patriots coach Bill Belichick has said that he will cooperate fully with the investigation. Quarterback Tom Brady has called the accusations ridiculous. This is unlikely to be anything along the lines of Spygate, where they were forced to give up a first-round pick.
All right, folks, so that's going to do it for this evening's America Off the Rails. Again, I will not be available tomorrow night. I'm still going to see if maybe somebody like Denny C wants to fill in for the hour. If not, we will upload a replay. Sorry, I'm going to be at a swim meet watching my son kick some ass, so I'll be back with you Saturday. Going to take us out with something a little bit funny, just because, you know, I've still got to get my blood pressure back under control. Because, you know, I've got to take a back seat here in a minute. Going to turn everything over here in just a moment to the conservative curmudgeon, also known as Grouchy. You've followed him on Facebook. You've liked him on Facebook. You've followed him on Twitter. And now you can hear him every week right here on K98Talk.com and the Spark Radio Network. And he'll be back with you live here in just a couple minutes. And again, I'm going to go ahead and take us out with something just a little bit funny. Only because, you know, I don't want to have everybody all stirred up before he comes on the air, because he gets you going pretty good, too, so I don't want anybody to have an aneurysm and then blame me for it later. All right, folks, I will be back with you Saturday. It has been my pleasure. I am Rick Robinson, host of America Off the Rails, also programming director here at K98Talk.com, and don't forget, we are trying to bring as many shows to you as possible. So if you have any ideas for show suggestions, or maybe you think you've got the chops to do this on your own, shoot me an email, ricky@thesparkradionetwork.com. Even if we can't get you onto this website right now, we do have lots of spots open on the sparkradionetwork.com, and you can always build up your chops, because we do plan on building up a rather large stable of shows, so that way as people come and go and things change, we have folks to fill in. All right, so I'm going to stop talking now, and then I'm going to take us out on something a little bit funny, and we'll be right back in just a minute with Grouchy.
You're on your way to the Super Bowl, but does your game still feel a bit flat? Cialis Inflatable helps fill your balls anytime the moment is right. Reach under center with confidence, knowing those balls are full and ready to grab. Before starting Cialis Inflatable, make sure your quarterback actually has balls to inflate. Do not play with deflated balls. Side effects may include inflated ego, swelling or painful sacks, loss of draft picks or hoodie sleeves, and hefty fines. Why let deflated balls hold you back? Give your balls that extra pump for the big game. Ask your equipment manager about Cialis Inflatable and stop f***ing cheating.
The difference is